And our third main topic today gets submitted to us by Tristan Ortiz, who writes, John, have you seen all the headlines that popped up last night that the industry union IATSE is calling for a strike authorization vote? If it goes through and a strike occurs, that would mean film and TV productions all over the country would shut down immediately. I have many friends in the IATSE and support them fully for this. They deserve fair working hours. They deserve fair work hours, compensation, and benefits. What do you think of the situation? And bring on the filthy. All right. Thanks a lot for sending that in, man. Really appreciate that. And yeah, listen, this is something that came up the other day. You know, Rob, I was doing my show the other day, and a question about the I keep forgetting what it actually stands for.
It stands for the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees.
That's right.
And it's
exactly.
almost a 130-year-old union.
Yeah, with like 60,000 members and all that kind of stuff. And you guys see this symbol on the end credits of every movie. Right near the end, this symbol comes up at the end credits of every single movie. And it came up the other day that the union chief of the IATSE was asking the membership for an authorization vote for him to declare a strike. Now, somebody brought that up on the show the other day, and I said, yeah, I saw that. But honestly, remember, he wasn't asking for a strike vote. He was asking for a strike authorization, which means if they vote yes, that doesn't mean they're on strike. That just means that the membership empowers their president to call a strike if he felt that they needed to. And at the time when this first came up, I said, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think this is posturing, just like the other side is going to do the Producers Association is going to do some posturing. I think this is them just showing that they're serious and that they mean business. But I said, I really wouldn't worry about this too much. Well, a few hours later, I got a call from somebody that I know who is in the IATSE and said, John, you're wrong. And they didn't say, look, we are definitely striking. This is definitely going to end in a strike. He didn't say that, but he said, you underplayed it. This wasn't just posturing. This going to strike is a very serious and very, very real possibility. And I'm like, really? I didn't think it was like, I thought this was just initial posturing, both sides basically, you know, throwing out their chests and pounding their chests and saying, look, we're all dead serious. But apparently this is something that could really, really happen. This comes to us from the folks who have Variety who write this. Some 60,000 IATSE members could end up walking off the job, most of whom are based in Los Angeles. A strike, if it comes, would lead to a nationwide shutdown of TV and film productions because 3 of the locals, the 600, 700, and 800, are national unions. It's coast to coast, said Joe Martinez, a special effects specialist in the IATSE Local 44, who said he believed a strike is increasingly likely. They think they got us by the balls. We make the product. If we don't show up to work, what are they going to sell? Local 600, the largest of the locals, representing 9,600 camera operators and cinematographers in the U.S. If they walk out, no one would be able to hold a camera on a set in the U.S. Likewise, post-production nationwide would come to a grinding halt without the 8,600 editors represented by the local 700. And by the way, this is not a union of just cinematographers and camera holders. This is not just a union of editors. This is, Rob, this is set designers. This is costume people. This is makeup artists. These are all things. Rob, listen, I don't want to be, the chicken running around yelling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. But if, and it is a big if, people need to understand this. If they do go on strike, it's not hyperbole to say everything shuts down. Every set out there of a television show and a movie being shot in the United States right now, it stops. Now, any movie, I've seen some people ask me, Rob, what happens to like movies that are already done? Can they not come out? No. If movies are done, they'll still get released and they'll meet their release dates. We're talking about films that are still in some level of production. Everything grinds to a halt. This is massive. Rob, I can't think of another situation as serious as this since the writer's strike. And this could arguably be even more serious than that. And so I was in a position, Rob, thinking that, I said on my show the other day, I don't think this is a real serious potential. I think this will all get resolved, and it could still very much get resolved without anything happening. But we're now hearing comments coming out of the union, Rob, that this is dead serious. This could happen. Rob, let me ask you this. What do you think of the scenario overall of what's going on here? How big of a deal would this be to the industry? And ultimately, what is the likelihood, do you think, that this could actually come to a strike that shuts everything down? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think this is a massive issue. And, there's the Teamsters, the Local 399, and IATSE. These are the big unions that control all of production. And what they're really fighting against is that obviously producers, the entire economic model of the motion picture industry, television as well, has changed. And what they're trying to do is they're always trying to get more for less. And they're saying, well, the models have changed. Everything has changed. It costs more to make these things. I mean, it's basically same as it ever was. They want to get more for less. And making movies, most people go to work 12-hour work days. The motion picture business, the average a day is a 12-hour day. And that 12-hour day usually starts earlier than 12 hours, and it ends later than 12 hours. You have half an hour lunch. It's a grueling schedule to make movies and television, and it's always been that way. And there has been calls for reform for a long time. And unfortunately, people's pay has been slowly being reduced over the years. There are less residuals. I mean, there's less money to go around, and yet the streamers seem to be making more and more money. There's just a huge economic sea change happening in the motion picture business. Look, what was going on with Scarlett Johansson, it's all part of the same thing. The business moving over to streaming, the studios, their economic models are completely changed. And, the IATSE's been around since the late 1800s. And like you said, John, everybody involved with production, from the actual production when you start on a movie all the way through the end of post-production, is covered by IATSE. And like the Teamsters as well, they're not necessarily part of this, but I'm sure they're in solidarity. But, the Teamsters, they bring everything to set: trucks, generators, lights, all the equipment. I mean, it's all the same thing. And these are grueling, long, difficult jobs. And when you work on these large, giant Marvel movies, there's a lot of union members who are on these things, and people are getting their pay. It's less and less and less, and they're expected to work if the exact same, if not more. And, there's been a lot of talk about long hours. People have been hurt. They get tired on set, driving back home sometimes. So this is a real issue. And I have to say, I am in complete solidarity with IATSE here. What they're asking for is not unusual. And I don't think they're asking, they want what they deserve, and they should get that. And they want to keep more than anything, they want to keep their workplaces safe, and they want to keep their workplaces vibrant, and places where people can work in an environment where great work gets done, morale is kept high, and everybody wins. So
it's going to be really interesting to see how this kind of pans out, because, to a great degree, a lot of fans have forgotten about it and brushed it away already, but the scars of the writer's strike are still being felt in the industry to this day. And I think they know that. And it's going to be really interesting to see how this turns out. And all we can do is hope for, all the TV shows and movies that we love to watch. We can hope that this gets worked out amicably for everybody involved and people get treated fairly. I don't know, maybe instead of paying Will Smith $40 million for King Richard, maybe you pay him $35 million and spread the other $5 million around. I don't know.
I mean, John, that's a really great point you're making, because, you read about these Knives Out deals, and these streaming services are making $400 million deals to make two Knives Out movies. And you got people getting $50 million payouts. It's like, come on, man. You've got your day laborers, essentially, the people that are working day in and day out on these productions that make them happen. And yeah, I'm not saying you don't need talent. You do need talent, but you also need talented people. Every person on a set matters to some degree. And, you know, they're vital to the success of whatever it is you're making.
Quick, Rob.
You can't make a Knives Out sequel. Yeah, you need Daniel Craig and you need Ryan Johnson, but you also need your grip and electric department, your DP, your script supervisor, makeup and hair, everyone.
Rob, just quick, I know you got to cut out here a little bit early today, but I want to get it from you. What are the chances this actually happens? What are the chances that they either get this thing resolved before anything bad happens, or do you think the situation is bad enough that they have to strike before something happens? What are the chances here?
Well, I think they have to stand firm. I mean, I don't know enough about the negotiations and what's going on, but I would say that look, this is all part of a larger industry thing. And I do think it's a necessary. This is necessary. It has to happen. And these things need to get sorted out, just like they have to get sorted out with the Writers Guild, you know, and the Teamsters. I mean, people need to get paid fair wages for the hard work that they do. And everybody always wants to pay people less. So,
all right, Rob, listen, I know you've got like Hollywood types of meetings. You got some Tango Shalom business you got to take care of. So you got to split for now. But Rob, thanks a lot for being here. We'll see you next time, of course. In the meantime, where can people follow you and your stuff online?
You can find me on Instagram at Robert Meyer Burnett. Find me on Twitter at BurnettRM. And you can always find me on my own YouTube channel, The Burnett Work. All
right, dude. Thanks a lot for being here. We'll talk to you again soon. Have a good one, Rob.
All right, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Meyer Burnett. And I just want to clarify something. I see some chat going on things here. This is not about actors versus the union workers. This is nothing to, they're completely disconnected. This is about the producers and the union workers. You know, the actors work out their deals with the producers. The union workers work out their deals with the producers as well. One really has nothing to do with the other, but you treat the actors really, really well. And I'm not saying they shouldn't. They should. But you got to treat the people who are on set every day making your movies possible. You got to treat them well too. I'm not saying a grip should make $5 million a year, but you got to make sure they're making a decent living. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this whole situation? Do you think it will actually come to a strike? Maybe yes, maybe no. Right now, I think it's a bit of a coin flip. What do you guys think? Jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts.